Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back to Storytime at Northumberland Public Library. I'm so glad you could join me today. And today we're having some stories about our favorite things. What are your favorite things? Do you have a favorite color? Do you have a favorite toy? A favorite book? Well, I just brought a couple of my favorites. Just because if we were doing this together in person, we'd be sharing our favorite things. So here's a couple of mine. This is my favorite mug. It's just fun and it makes me feel good. It looks like an old-time library card that we used to have in our books at the libraries. And this is one of my little, I have a whole bunch of these little buildings at home that are just wood. But this is my favorite one because it's actually a real store where I used to work when I got out of college. I worked there for a long time. And I wore my blue shirt because this is my favorite color of blue. I just love this blue. So what are your favorite things? Maybe you'll get some thoughts about that as we read our books today. Our first story is about Stanley. Now, Stanley was really excited about being the star of the week at school. And he spends a lot of time picking out the things that he's going to share at school that week. But, well, you'll see what happens. So this is called Star of the Week, and it's by Barney Salzberg, and it's from Candlewick Press. Star of the Week. When Stanley Birdbaum heard the news, he practically flew home from school. "I'm Star of the Week," he shouted. "It's my turn to share my favorite things." That night, Stanley and his mom prepared snacks. "They're gonna love this," he said. "You're my star every day," said Stanley's mom as he left for school the next morning. In class, Mr. Winger pinned a star to Stanley's shirt. "I'm sure everyone would like a little snack," he said. "Did you bring your favorite food?" Stanley passed around sandwiches. "They're tofu bologna, cream cheese, and jelly with pickles," he told them, "on pumpernickel." Does that sound good to you? Stanley was happily nibbling his sandwich when he noticed that no one else was eating. "They're good," he reassured everyone. "Really?" Mr. Winger took a bite. "I've never had tofu bologna, cream cheese, and jelly with pickles before," he said. "Pickles do add a nice texture." "I'm not eating this," said Polly Seed Eater. "It's disgusting." "I thought this was going to be fun," Stanley said to himself. "I think I was wrong." As Star of the Week, Stanley also got to share his favorite toy. At home, he tried to pick one. It took a while. "I know today will be better," said Stanley's mom as he left for school the next morning. When it was time for Stanley to share his favorite toy, he pulled a plastic robot out of his bag. "Is that a doll?" Polly Seed Eater said. Everybody laughed. "This is Mr. Bizzo," said Stanley. "He's a walking, talking robot." Stanley wound Mr. Bizzo up. "Hello, hello, hello," the robot repeated as it rolled across the floor. Then, boing, an arm came loose. Crack, a leg popped off. "Goodbye," groaned Mr. Bizzo. "I thought this was going to be fun," Stanley said to himself. "I think I was wrong." Finally, Stanley went to talk to Mr. Winger. "Being the star of the week has been awful," said Stanley. "Nobody liked my favorite food. They laughed at my favorite toy. I don't think I want to share anymore." "I know it's been challenging," said Mr. Winger, "but I think it's really important that you finish what you start. I can't wait to see what you share next." When it was time for Stanley to share what he liked to do best, everyone sat quietly on the rug. "I love to draw," Stanley whispered. "That's going to be As good as that silly robot, said Sally Seed Eater. There was giggling. Mr. Winger suggested that Stanley draw something. Oh my, look at that face. Stanley froze. His arms felt stiff like branches. He wished he could disappear. All Stanley Birdbaum could draw was a little curvy line. That's not what I meant to do, he said. Stanley Birdbaum loves to draw noodles, sang Polly. There was laughing. Well, it could be a worm, said Larry Finchfeather. Stanley smiled at Larry and began to draw. Ta-da, he announced. Now it's a worm. It's a squiggle drawing, someone shouted, and it's great. Do another one, said Larry Finchfeather. Before Stanley could begin, Polly marched right up to the front of the room. Here's a squiggle, she said. See what she drew? Oh my goodness, that's a big squiggle. I bet you can't make anything out of that. Everyone was quiet. Stanley stared at the squiggle. After a few moments, he began to draw. Look there, what he did with it. How about a bird looking for lunch, Stanley said when he finished the drawing. Do you see what the bird's lunch is he drew? Kind of looks like her, doesn't it? Everyone clapped. Polly Seed Eater had nothing to say. For the rest of the week, everyone, even Polly, wanted to make squiggle drawings. I thought this was going to be fun, Stanley said to himself. I think I was right. And there he is, Stanley, the star of the week. That's a fun one. So things did turn out okay. Sometimes our favorite things aren't things that other people like, but they're still our favorite things, aren't they? So that's what's important. When I saw this next book, it reminded me of one of my favorite people. So I'm going to read you the story first. This book is called Now, and it's by Antoinette Portis, and it comes from Roaring Book Press. This is my favorite breeze. This is my favorite leaf. This is my favorite hole. This one, because it's the one I'm digging. This is my favorite mud. This is my favorite worm. This is my favorite cloud, because it's the one I am watching. This is my favorite rain. That was my favorite boat. This is my favorite tree, because it's the one where I'm swinging. This is my favorite smell. And this is my favorite bird. And this is my favorite song, because it's the one I am singing. This is my favorite gulp. This is my favorite bite. This is my favorite tooth, because it's the one that's missing. This is my favorite hug. This is my favorite moon. This is my favorite now, because it's the one I'm having with you. And reading to you is one of my favorite things too. So that's one of my favorite things. But you know what, who this book reminded me of? this book reminded me of my grandma, because my grandma used to say all the time, and all the cousins would tell you this, she used to say, my favorite grandchild is the one I'm with right now. So when I saw this book, it reminded me of her, and I just had to read it to you too. So I hope that you enjoyed thinking about some of your favorite things. And now, when you pick up your craft bag for this month, you can make your own book about your favorite things. So all I did was write the title on it for you. And you can write your name on here, and then you can go through. I gave you a whole bunch of blank pages. You can draw a picture of something that's favorite, or you can write a word, or you can ask Mom if there's a magazine or a newspaper you could cut pictures out of. Or maybe there's a photograph that somebody took that you want to put in there that shows a favorite thing. And if you make your book, you can put all kinds of things in here. I'd love it if you brought it in when you come to the library so I can see it too. That would be fun. So I hope you enjoyed thinking about some of your favorite things, and I hope you come back and join me next time. And don't forget, you can come and have story time with me in the library too. Every other week when we're not on for a virtual week, then we have story time right here, and you can come and listen to me read the stories in person and do the crafts and things with me. So I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.